Rockies owner Dick Monfort has notably, obviously, and deliberately not invested in the future of the Rockies as a team. He owns the team. He had the opportunity to keep guys around like DJ LeMahieu, keep guys around like Trevor Story, keep guys happy and around like Nolan Arenado. But instead, he chooses to own a franchise that operates on a profit-based business model. Because the Rockies, being geographically located in Denver, never have to worry about attendance being an issue for their team. Consistently on a year in and year out basis, the Rockies are always top 5 to top 7 in attendance. They're always top 5 to top 7 in just percent profit margins, basically, based on the TV contracts that they have, the attendance that they draw in, and how much they pay their team, because that's the biggest expense for any Major League Baseball team is the employees that you have to pay, whether that's the coaches, obviously the stadium employees, but mostly and most significantly, the players on the field. The Rockies generate enough revenue to easily fall into the top 7, potentially top 5 in payroll every single year. But they choose not to, because they're operating on a basis where they want to turn over a profit and bring in as much money as possible to the pockets of the owners and executives that are involved with the Rockies as a team. So when a team has that thought process and a team operates on that basis, like the Rockies do and like Dick Monfort does, they're always going to be critical of a team and an owner like the Padres and Peter Seidler, who are projected to exceed $270 million in payroll in this upcoming season. The Rockies' projected payroll for the upcoming season is $163 million, which puts them 16th in baseball, right in the middle of the pack. So they have the 16th highest payroll, yet they are top 5 in attendance and top 5 in profit margins. And Dick Monfort is asked about the Padres and the pressure on the Rockies to spend more to compete with teams in the National League West like the Padres and the Dodgers. He says, as we head over to this article by the Denver Post, and this is an article by Patrick Saunders at the Denver Post. Dick Monfort, on the issue of the Padres, like we talked about, Dick Monfort says, that puts a lot of pressure on us. But it's not just the Padres. It's the Mets. It's the Phillies. This has been an interesting year. He goes on to say, what the Padres are doing, I don't 100% agree with. You're kidding. You're kidding you don't agree with it. I'm so shocked by that revelation that you, Dick Monfort, who operates on an apparent and extremely obvious profit-based business model, you, of all people, don't agree with how the Padres are spending their money and the fact that they're spending so much money. You don't agree with it, Dick Monfort? I'm shocked. I'm baffled. I cannot believe it. The guy who's greedy and just wants money doesn't agree with the owner for the Padres not being greedy and spending money. He says, what the Padres are doing, I don't 100% agree with, though I know that our fans probably agree with it. We'll see how it works out. First of all, there's nothing to see how it works out. There's nothing so far, and even what's gone on this offseason and last season in general, there is nothing that would indicate it's not going to work out for the owner of the Padres, Peter Seidler. Because even if the Padres don't win the World Series, which is the ultimate goal for every team, right? But realistically, only one team can come out on top. Sometimes a team gets hot in October, and that's the end of that. And some teams run into bad luck. Some teams run into injuries. That is neither here nor there. But what is for certain is that the Padres owner is spending money and investing in a product that brings fans out to attend the games. And in doing so, he generates more revenue for his team and himself as the owner. The Padres have shut down season ticket sales for the upcoming 2023 season. They have closed it off. They're out of season tickets. The allotted amount of tickets in the stadium that are season tickets are done. They cannot sell anymore. They held a fan fest back in the early parts of February, and they drew over 150,000 fans in one day to come out and meet the players and go to the stadium and get autographs, take pictures, go on the field, et cetera, right? All the things that are involved with a fan fest for a team. The Padres drew 150,000. The Rockies didn't have a fan fest. The interest in the Padres as a team from the fan base is at the highest level it's ever been in the organization's history. And the Rockies owner is questioning whether it's going to work or not for them to invest a little bit more to their payroll, spend some money on some players to put a good product in the field. He says, we'll see if it works out. We'll see how it works out. He then goes on to say, I look at the Padres and they have a really talented team, but they have some holes too. I look at the Padres and they have a really talented team, but they have some holes too. They've got 3, maybe 4 starting pitchers, and then they're sort of like us. They have Musgrove, Snell, and Darvish, so I don't know. They have spent a lot of money, and they will have to spend a lot more if they want to keep Juan Soto. But it does put a lot of pressure on you. Yes, it does. So he's criticizing the Padres as a team, claiming that they have lots of holes. Just like the Rockies. Just like the Rockies. Rockies have holes. Padres have holes. Almost insinuating, like those two teams might be competitive. Comparing a team like the Rockies in the 2023 season to a team like the Padres, just roster specific, it is so misleading to the organization and to the fans. It's such a deception, an obvious deception by him. If you go into the FanGraphs projections and the playoff odds for every team in the National League, and you scroll down to the National League West, the Rockies are projected for 65 wins in the upcoming season. Their percentage chance to win the World Series, again, according to FanGraphs, is 0%. 0%. Their percentage chance of making the playoffs is 0.1%. And yet, the Rockies owner, Dick Monfort, had this to say about his team. We have a lot of talent. A lot of good things are going to happen. And I think they're going to start happening this year. And I think we can play 500 baseball. We think our team could be around 500. He also touted the Rockies farm system that has 4 players in the top 100 for Major League Baseball's top 100 prospects. He said, we had 4 of them. But I kid you not, there could have been 15. He says, we have an incredible amount of talent in the minor leagues, and some of them are going to be up this year. He was then interviewed after the Northern Colorado Friends of Baseball breakfast that he made those statements on. He was interviewed after that event and had this to say. I think we have a competitive team, and I think we're learning some things that we need to learn to do differently. I think this is a year where we can really step it up a little bit. This is a year when people need to take a step forward, and some of the new kids need to come in and show excitement, knowing that there are more coming in behind them, meaning more prospects coming up behind the prospects that will be up this year, apparently. Keep the faith here. I think we are on the right track. I'm more confident now than I was last year. He added that last season, he thought a 500 record was in the cards. How'd the Rockies do last year in the NL West standings? Well, that's right. They won 68 games. But Dick Monfort thought that 500 was in the cards. Okay. Well, then they must have lost, half their lineup to injuries, right? I mean, they must have lost 4 starting pitchers. Because to go from a team that's at 81 wins and a team that's at 68, a lot of things have to happen. He added last season, 500 was in the cards, but injuries after the season, he added that 500 was in the cards after the Rockies signed Chris Bryant to a 7-year, $182 million contract. Chris Bryant only played 42 games, so there's an injury. And a number of players failed to meet expectations. He said, I think 500 is in the cards, and if stuff goes right, with expanded playoffs, who knows what happens? That's sort of what we thought last year. And then as it ended up, Chris didn't play much, and we ended up a little worse than what I thought. In conclusion, based on my personal opinion, and if I was, let's just say, play God, or I had the ability or the power in some way or another to automatically sell a franchise, if I'd say I was a commissioner and one of the commissioner's powers was to go, all right, you have to sell the team, force a sale of a team, which obviously isn't the case and would never happen because Manfred is a mouthpiece for the owners anyways. If that were the case and I was the commissioner and had that power, I would immediately and instantly implement that the Rockies must be sold to a different ownership group as soon as possible.